do is they are going to database, and using the Oracle BA cluster controller server, they are going to connect to this cluster or configure this cluster. Each cluster that has been created will invoke 16 BI servers. How many BI servers?
16.
16 BI servers. So imagine only one BI server running here and 16 BI servers running parallelly and distributing the load equally and increasing the processing time, decreasing the processing time. That means faster processing, quick processing of data. Got it? Yes?
Yep.
The more number of clusters you create, the more number of Oracle BI servers. Okay? Yes?
Okay.
In this clusters created, there will be one master server which will be active. Okay, there will be one master server which will be active, one controller which will be controlling the distribution on flow of data, and one scheduler which is going to schedule different jobs. Okay? Fine?
Yep.
Yes, guys? Fine.
Yes.
Yes. And if you see here, in OVA 11G, the cluster controller is configured automatically. But in 10G, we need to execute some scripts and then configure it manually. Got it? 11G it is auto configured. You need not do anything to configure the cluster controller server. It is auto configured. Okay? Then you have the Oracle BS scheduler server. So what is this scheduler server? The name itself is telling you that it is used to schedule. Schedule what? Schedule different jobs to run. Schedule different reports to be delivered to the client at a specific time interval and time zone. Okay. So Oracle BI scheduler, most of the time it is used to schedule the reports and also jobs. And when we talk about this Oracle BI scheduler in 11G, it is auto configured, but in 10G we have to run some scripts to configure it. This Oracle BI scheduler should always be up and running to schedule your jobs. If the scheduler is not up and running, you cannot schedule jobs. So this should be always up and running, and we use an environment called as Oracle BI Delivers. 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 Okay. So we go to this environment called as Delivers, in which we will be creating something called as an intelligent agent. An intelligent agent, IA. The same intelligent agent in 10G it was called as iBot, Intelligent Busting Output Tool. Okay, which was used to initialize the process of scheduling the reports. So this is an agent which represents a robo symbol. Okay, it is represented using a robo symbol. So the intelligent agent is used to schedule the reports and to deliver the reports to the client at specific time interval. Got it? Yes?
Yeah. Yes.
So the environment where we will be scheduling the reports is called as the Oracle BI Delivers. And we can set the priorities also. Low, medium, high, different type of priorities for scheduling and delivering of reports. Okay, fine?
Yep.
So understood about the Oracle BI Scheduler server?
Yes, Devi.
Fine. Now you see the infrastructure here. This infrastructure is nothing but if you want to install your OBA application, there should be some minimum requirements. That is nothing but first a big database that you need. So normally most of the time OBI is installed into an Oracle database because it's an Oracle product. And you can also install it into other databases. It supports any type of database. Yesterday, if you remember, I was talking about the high availability of this application, high scalability of this application. It could be used to connect to any type of database. So it can be also installed into any type of database. So normally what happens is that most of the time we use the Oracle database, and there are some minimum requirements specifications to install this OBI application. I mean, talking about the system requirements. Okay. The first thing is at least 20 GB of free disk space on your computer, minimum 4 GB of RAM, a dual core processor not less than 1.6 gigahertz of speed. Okay. Any Windows operating system except Home Premium versions. Windows 7 Ultimate is recommended for ease of use. Okay. And a database. So this is the infrastructure of the database, and when you want to install this Oracle BI application, you need to first install something called as the RCU, Repository Creation Utility. You have something called as RCU, which is Repository Creation Utility. The Repository Creation Utility is available both for 32-bit and 64-bit from the 7.0 version. Prior to the 7.0 version, 32-bit was not available, only 64-bit was available. But from 7.0 version, RCU is available for both 32-bit and 64-bit machines. What will this RCU do? When you download and run this RCU, it is going to create two important schemas into the database. One is called as BI underscore platform schema, which is called as the BI platform schema, and the other schema called as the metadata services, MDS. Okay. So this is the BI platform schema and MDS. Depending on the environment, let's say we are creating it for the development environment, we give it as dev underscore BI platform and dev underscore MDS. So these two prerequisite schemas forms the infrastructure for the OBI installation. Got it? And these two schemas are created directly into the database by running the RCU. Okay? Fine?
Okay.
Yes. Then on the other hand, here you have different files types. Okay? First one is configuration files, which stores some important mechanisms of configuration of data. We'll talk about these configuration files in the coming classes. Then you have the RPD file, which stands for Rapid Database File, or in simple words called as repository. Okay, which actually helps us to, connect to different data sources and import metadata and start analyzing your data. So most of the time, when you want to analyze the data, you do it by creating a repository file. The files will have an extension as .rpd, stands for Rapid Database File, and this has been derived from the word rapid, R-A-P-I-D. Okay, you see this R-A-P-I-D, R-P-D, Rapid Database File. So from the word rapid, RPD has been derived. So all the repositories will have an extension of .rpd. Next, your presentation catalog, which is nothing but a normal folder, also called as the web catalog. What does this do? It is used to store all the objects that you have created. Okay, you have created a prompt or a report or a filter or a dashboard. Whatever you have created, all those objects will be stored in a default folder called as a catalog or presentation catalog, or in other words, web catalog. Okay. Then security identity management talks about the security concepts. Then you have the connection configuration. Let's say you want to connect to different data sources. We know that OBI is highly scalable. You can connect to different data sources right from a flat file, like you can connect to Excel, Access, Fox Code, DB2, DBase, Sybase, Informatics, SQL Server, Teradata, SAP modules, SAS modules, PeopleSoft, BAN, SAS, okay, any type of data. So connection configuration refers to the connection mechanism that you are using to connect to the data store. Then you have DB config. It is actually related to the configuration of the database, and it's actually covered in the configuration files. There are two important configuration files. One is NKS config file, and the other one is dbfeatures.ini file. Okay, so I will show you what are these files in the coming classes. Then you have the log files, right? You know why log file is needed. Okay, to know the status of a user or a component, we need to understand the log file. Log files represent the time or the session. Okay, so we can have individual log files generated for each component, for BI server, presentation server, Java server, cluster controller, or BSK scheduler. And also we can enable this logging for a query also. Let's say a user has logged in, he has requested for a report, he is executing a report that is nothing but a query, and we want to know when did the user log in. And we want to know when did the user log in, what type of report he has executed, how many rows were retrieved, what is the amount or byte information, what was the physical compilation time, what was the logical response time, what time it has taken to connect to the database, in how many seconds the database has responded to the query, okay, what was the subject area, what was the presentation catalog. So all this could be logged for a particular query. So all these log files are represented in a folder called as diagnostics. Okay guys, fine. Okay.
Yep.
So
Okay.
this is about your Oracle BI technical architecture. Just a minute. So this is a corporate, document related to the technical architecture. It explains you the type of installation. There are three types: simple install, enterprise install, and software only install. So whatever diagram we have seen here in a color format, same thing here is available. You can see Oracle BI, Java components, WebLogic domain, and the system components, BI instance, the OPMN, and different files here. Okay. Java components, the WebLogic domain, system components, BI instance, other domain contents. You see, we were talking about the WebLogic server, administration console, the Fusion middleware control, the JMX MBeans. Then talking about a managed server, the node manager, Then we are talking about the 5 important BI, you know, servers, and it is also talking about the Oracle BI presentation services plugin, BI action services, BI security services, the Microsoft Office, integration of MS Office with BI, Oracle BI publisher, RTD real-time services, and Oracle BI SOA services. These are all part of the managed server activities, whatever we have seen. Then here comes the 5 important BI servers, presentation server, scheduler, Java host, and cluster controller. Okay. Then we talk about OPMN and the Fusion middleware control. Then if you see here the Oracle Business Intelligence basic directory structure, you have a Fusion middleware home. Okay. Hello.
Yes.
Guys, are you following?
Yes, Devi.
Yes. See, this is called as a Fusion middleware home here. So when we install, we also create a Fusion middleware home. Why we call it as Fusion middleware home? Because we are going to install OBIE, and OBIE is a part of Fusion middleware. Earlier it was a part of enterprise management software. So when you want to install OBIE, we create a Fusion middleware directory home, and you can give it as any name. Normally we used to give it as FMW, Fusion middleware home. Okay, FMW. But we can also give your own name. See, I have given it as OB11G. This is the Oracle BI11G Fusion middleware home. Okay. Then you see it has been divided into 3 subfolders or 3 subhomes here. The WebLogic server home, where the WebLogic directory is specified. Here it is. If you go here, see middleware home, you have the WebLogic server home, WL server 10.3. Okay. And you have the user projects. Here is the user projects. And you have the Oracle BI home. Here is the Oracle BI home. So individually talking about each home, the WebLogic server home consists of the WebLogic server home and contains all the Java components. The user projects contain product domains including 1 or more Oracle Business Intelligence domains. User projects, what are the applications, BI Foundation domain, and the domains, BI Foundation domain. Okay. The servers, admin server, security. Okay. So all these components.
Excuse me.
Okay. So next is the location. Okay. The location of important directories. First one is repository. So there is a default folder to store all the RPD files. That is here C:users, OB11G, instances, instance 1 or instance 2, BI Foundation, Oracle BI server component, core application, repository folder. This is the default location that stores all the RPDs, and you can see .rpd files here. Okay. These are different RPDs stored here in the default repository location. Now the same thing when we talk about a catalog here, it's called as a web catalog or the presentation catalog. Okay. Instances, instance 2, BI Foundation, Oracle BI presentation services component, core application, and you see something called as a catalog folder here. So this contains the catalog related to the currently running RPD. Okay, so here you can see the catalog location here, the same location, and we call it as a web catalog. The sample applied currently, whatever you see here, it comes along with your OBIE installation. When you install OBIE, okay, you get a sample application. It's called a sample applied application with some default sales information. Okay, so that web catalog, within that OBIE sample application, that web catalog folder name is sample applied. That is what you see here. That is what is the location. Then you have the NQS config file, instance config.ini, and BI server logs. This I'm going to explain you now. Let me go here. If you go to the config folder here, you double click on the config folder, go to the BI server component, core application. Here you see one important file called as the nkiosconfig.ini file. Okay, this is the most important configuration file, and this is managed by the Oracle Enterprise Manager. Yesterday we have seen the EM, Oracle Enterprise Manager, right? So it is managed by the Enterprise Manager. In OBA 10G, we used to manually deal with this configuration file because in 10G there was no concept of Enterprise Manager. Whatever entries had to be made into this NKS configuration file, we had to open this manually and do the entries into this configuration file. For example, the first entry is related to the repository section, how repositories are represented. Star refers to a star schema. This is the default repository, and the default keyword indicates that this is the actual repository currently running in the Oracle BI server's memory. If you see a comment here, it says this configuration is managed by the Oracle Enterprise Manager Fusion Middleware Control. But in 10G, we used to manually write the configuration here. Okay? Fine?
Right.
Yes, guys?
Okay.
Yep.
All repositories must reside in this Oracle BI server instance repository directory only. Mandatory. You cannot have it outside the repository directory. Okay. So repositories are actually defined as logical repository name and the file name. If you see the star here, star is a logical name. Normally we refer star with a star schema, but if you want, you can give your own name also. Whatever it is, Harpreet or Shazab or me or whatever name, you can give it as any logical name equating to the repository file and with the default keyword. Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Then you have the cache section here. By default, the cache memory is enabled. Then it consists of all important configurations of your OBA application here. Whenever you get a free time, go through this. You get lot of important interview questions from here. Okay.
Okay.
Then you have the dbfeatures.ini file, which helps us to know what are the database features supported by your OBA application. For example, is group by supported? Yes. Bottom end supported? No. Top end supported? No. Is AVS supported? Yes. Is sign supported? Yes. Here, datetime formats, time format. You see, is max supported? Yes. Is first supported? No. Last supported? No. Something like this. All the features that are supported and not supported by the database. Okay. All these are available in the dbfeatures.ini file. Okay, fine.
Yep.
So these are the two important configuration files. Now go back. Same thing here. You have the Oracle BI presentation services component file. Go to config, Oracle BI presentation services component, core application, and you have one important file called as instanceconfig.xml file. Okay, double click to open it, and you see instanceconfig.ini file here. It's also the initialization file. Okay, it is having an extension. INI means initialization file, but the actual extension is XML. Okay, because it's an XML file. It consists of all the port information, the default catalog location information. Okay, what is the default port associated? What are the internal ports that are used by the other components? All that information will be available here in the instance config file. If you see here, Oracle BI presentation services configuration version 1.1. This is the Oracle BI presentation services configuration file. You see, it is showing you the path of the catalog here, the sample applied web catalog path. It is showing you the default ODBC driver used by the core application. Normally, you know the routine data flow in an environment. You have a web browser. It will connect to a web server. Web server will connect to the Oracle BI server. Oracle BI server will connect to the data sources. Let me show you here just a quick explanation of the functional architecture. Actually, it is the default this architecture is default to any environment because web server, any web-based application needs to be hosted, needs a web server. Here is the browser, here is the web server, here is the Oracle BI server connected to different data sources. A person interacts with a browser. A browser is a web-based application. I mean, it's an application software that represents data in the form of HTML. You invoke a browser and send a request. It is going to communicate with the web server by using default HTTP, TCP, IP protocols, right? So this contains HTML. This understands only JSP because it's a Java-based application. If it is a Windows-based application, it is consisting of ASP code. For example, you have other Microsoft servers like your SharePoint or your Internet Information Services or your personal web server. So what does this web server does here is, it reads the incoming HTML, converts into JSP and executes it, and then again whatever information it has to send to the browser, it converts JSP code back to HTML and send to the browser. Because it is doing this conversion process, it is also called as the presentation server. The web server itself is acting as a presentation server. Then what happens here is, the web server has to communicate with the Oracle BI server. It needs some default communication mechanism. Okay, so that is what in OBI 10G it was using a default ODBC driver called as Analytics Web to communicate with the Oracle BI server. In 11G it has been renamed to Core Application underscore Oraculum with some XYZ number. So this is the default ODBC driver that is used to communicate with the Oracle BI server. Once the installation is done, you can see the default ODBC driver in the data sources ODBC. Go to system.ds and you can see this default driver, which is used by your web server to communicate with the Oracle BI server. Okay. And in 10G, we were using an application server called as Oracle Application Server. In fact, a skimmed version of it called as Start OC4J, called as Oracle Container for Java. In OBI 11G, it has been integrated as a part of Fusion middleware with the Oracle WebLogic Server. So in 11G, we are using Oracle WebLogic Server as a web server. In 10G, we are using Oracle Application Server. In fact, a skimmed version of what called as Start OC4J. So in OBI 10G, instead of the Start BI services here, you will find something called as Start OC4J that would invoke the Oracle BI 10G Oracle Application Server. Fine. So the problem here is that again the web server reads data in the form of JSP code, but the Oracle BI server understands only logical SQL. So what happens? The web server converts JSP code into logical SQL and sends it to the BI server. The BI server reads it and sends back the information in the form of logical SQL. Then the web server again decodes this logical SQL to JSP and reads it. Now coming to the BI server. The BI server has to connect to different data sources here. Teradata, Microsoft SQL Server, ORCL. So it's very simple. If we want to connect to any type of data source, we use the corresponding ODBC driver. We want to connect to data source Teradata, use corresponding Teradata driver. Connect to SQL Server, use corresponding SQL Server driver. But only in the case of ORCL, only in the case of Oracle database, till OBI 10G, we were using corresponding database driver only. See, in the databases, data sources, click on system.ds and add, you can see a corresponding ODBC driver here, Oracle DB underscore 11G underscore home one. In 10G, it will be mentioned as 10G underscore home one. So till Oracle database 10G, we used to use this driver only to communicate with Oracle data sources. Okay. But from 11G onwards, Oracle has made it specifically clear that if you want to connect to an Oracle data source, don't use the default driver available. make use of the native interface called as OCI, which is called as Oracle Call Interface. So from 11G onwards, if you want to connect to Oracle data sources, we are going to use the default communication mechanism called as OCI, called as Oracle Call Interface. So we know that we interact with the data sources using physical SQL, but the BI server understands only logical SQL. So whatever physical SQL we send it as a query format, it is going to read it and convert it to logical SQL, and whatever response it is going to give to the data sources, it's converting back to physical SQL and inserting it to the data sources. So in this way, there is a two-way mechanism going on between the web browser and the data sources and all the components. See, browser to WebLogic server to BI server to data sources. Again, reverse communication, the two-way mechanism. Again, data sources to the BI server to the WebLogic server to the browser. Browser displays the data and user is going to view the data. Right? Yes? Yes, guys?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why
Yes.
here, instance config specifies the important components here, and you can see here. So it is giving you the presentation catalog information, the default ODBC driver that is used to communicate with the Oracle BI server, default ODBC driver used by your web server, and it is giving you other max file size. Okay, this configuration setting is again carried on by the Oracle Manager, Enterprise Manager, Fusion Middleware Control. Okay, you can see here. We are not worried about the writer class groups and all. We are, yeah. So here, default rows display delivery. 75 rows will be displayed by default. What are the number of rows to be downloaded for a single table? 2500. You can of course change these default values. And internally, the server listens to a port at 9710. Okay. And internally, the core application Java host is listening to a port at 9810. The scheduler server is listening to a port at 9706. You see that? Yes?
Yep.
The workflow server, which is an internal component, is invoked at a location HTTP 192.168.247.001. So all the port information, all the local hosts, the local websites. In fact, we can call them as local websites information is available here in this instance config.xml file. Got it? Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Then you have the BI server logs. Not only the BI server logs, you can get the logs of any component in a folder called as the diagnostics folder. The C::OB11 instances. I have instance 2 here. Actually, there was instance 1. But what happened is that